So good afternoon, students. So already you have started your mechanism of drug absorption. In this, I told you different types of process there, mechanisms there, like transcellular, paracellular, intracellular, vesicular transport. So different types of mechanisms there, transport mechanisms for the transportation of drug while absorption. So with this, today we will discuss about in transcellular. The first one, passive transport mechanism. In this passive transport mechanism, different types of other parts there, other types of mechanisms there, like your passive transport. So this, our passive diffusion, we can take this process known as your simple diffusion, because in passive transport means it does not require any type of energy. Automatically by natural energy it will transport, it does not need any type of energy source. While in the active transport it requires energy. So in this, the first one will be the passive diffusion. So around 90% of the drug will transport in this mechanism. This is also called as non-ionic diffusion. Generally, you remember one point, if the drug is in the form of unionized form or non-ionic form, then it will be absorbed better. That means, in case of unionized form, the drug will absorb more than the ionic forms. If it is ionized, it will be slower, the absorption will be slower. So that's why in the form of non-ionic only, it will absorb more. So in this mechanism also, more drugs will be absorbed in the form of non-ionic form. So that's why 90% of the drugs are absorbing through this mechanism. So this type of mechanism also called as your electrochemical gradient. This driving force of this mechanism is your electrochemical gradient, or we can take concentration gradient. So that means automatically from higher concentration to lower concentration, the drug will move as per their concentration gradient. So that's why to know how much amount of drug is absorbing, we have to follow one law that is known as Fick's-First law of diffusion. It follows Fick's-First law of diffusion. So in this, as per the law of diffusion, it states that the drug molecules diffuse from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration until equilibrium is attained, and the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to the concentration gradient across the membrane. The rate of diffusion is directly proportional to concentration gradient. So that means, as per the equation, the drug will always move from the higher concentration to lower concentration until equilibrium is attained. Equilibrium is attained means the concentration in both sides will remain same. So that's why we have to see how much amount of drug is absorbed. We can calculate by taking this equation. This equation is as per Fick's-First law of diffusion. dQ by dt is equal to dA K M by W divided by H into C GIT minus C. So here dQ by dt means the rate of drug diffusion, amount for time, and D means diffusion coefficient, A means surface area of the absorbing membrane, K M by W means partition coefficient of the drug, and C GIT minus C, it is your concentration gradient or concentration difference. You can tell concentration difference between the GI fluid and plasma. So it is, by taking this equation we can calculate, and AH here is your thickness of the membrane. H means thickness of the membrane. So now from this we will derive some parts, some assumptions there of this passive diffusion mechanism, like the drugs moves in downhill movement. Downhill movement means from the top to bottom it will move downhill movement. Once it does not need any type of energy. If are coming from high end to low end, then it does not need any type of energy. Automatically, as per the nature, it will flow. Then it is energy independent and non-saturable. Like that, so many postulates there. and then also the molecular size should be within the range of 100 to 400 Dalton. To follow this mechanism, passive diffusion, the drug size should be 100 to 400 Dalton. So in this, now there are some factors to increase the absorption. We can find out some of the factors are directly proportional, some of the factors are indirectly proportional. So rate of diffusion, the rate of absorption will be directly proportional to diffusion coefficient, surface area and partition coefficient. That means, and concentration gradient. That means if diffusion coefficient more, surface area more, partition coefficient is more and the concentration gradient is more, then the rate of absorption will be more. And if thickness is more, then the rate of absorption will be less. So if we change some of the factors, we can increase the rate of absorption also. But for a particular human being, for a particular person, all these things will be remain same. D, diffusion coefficient, it is for the drug, it will be remain same. Surface area of the absorbing membrane, that is also will be same for a particular person. Partition coefficient of the drug will be same. And CGIT minus C, concentration gradient, it is only will change. H, thickness also will change. That thickness also will be same. So that's why this will be completely, these terms we are using here, D, A, K, H, all will be remain constant. That means its complete form will be a constant, and this constant we are calling as permeability. This constant will be permeability. And from this equation we got an idea that rate of absorption is depends upon completely on concentration gradient. If concentration is more, then the rate of diffusion will be more. And with this, as per the equation, it is mentioned concentration gradient in concentration difference between the GIT and plasma. GIT and plasma. So GIT means CGIT if it is the process will stop when both sides will be same as per the theory. But practically it is not similar, because in the GIT always the drug concentration will not be maintained, because the drug will absorb immediately and it will circulate. So always the concentration in plasma will be less. Always concentration of drug in plasma will be less, because continuously after absorption process, distribution, elimination, other process will also act. So that's why the plasma concentration will decrease continuously. So that's why always the concentration of drug in GIT will be more. So this process will not stop practically. And this phenomena we are calling as sink condition. This phenomena we are calling as sink condition. Then coming to next mechanism, pore transport. Pore transport means it is a convective transport. Also it is called as bulk flow or filtration. In this, what will happen? The drug molecule will transport through the protein channels. Through the protein channels, drug will transport. And in this, driving force will be, driving force means by the force it will be transported. By the force the drug will be transported. So the driving force here will be your hydrostatic pressure, pressure of water. And generally this hydrostatic pressure is nothing but it is due to water flux, because inside the stomach water will be in continuous movement, so it will produce water flux. So this water flux will help to absorb or transport the drug, and this process phenomena we are calling as solvent drug. This phenomena we are calling as solvent drug. But this is suitable for low molecular weight drugs whose molecular weight will be 100 angstrom. This type of drugs can be able to transport through this. Next, coming to next one, ion pair transport. Ion pair transport means in this particularly, from the name only you can know, ions are able to transport. Those drugs will be in ionized form, they can be transported this mechanism. So, irrespective of different pH conditions, the drug can be absorbed, and this will be absorbed by pairing with iron. So there is the endogenous substance present inside our body which will make a complex with iron. So that name is mucin. So that mucin will make a complex with iron and the drug will be transported to the plasma or blood circulation. Then the mucin will return back to the position. So this type of phenomena we are calling as ion pair transport, particularly some of the drugs like quaternary ammonium compounds, sulfonic acids, propanolol, these will follow this ion pair transports. Then coming to the next one, carrier mediated transport. Carrier mediated means the drug will be transported by a carrier. So which type of carrier we will discuss? Particularly there are some polar drugs we can cross the transport mechanism which will be crossed to the blood circulation, which will go to the blood circulation without, irrespective of their concentration gradient or partition coefficient. Irrespective of their concentration gradient and partition coefficient, it can be transported. So in these cases, there are some inside our body some essential nutrients there, like different vitamins, amino acid, monosaccharides. This can be transported by this mechanism, that is carrier mediated transport. And with this will follow, this carrier will bind reversibly. Carrier will bind with the drugs reversibly. Reversible means it will bind with the drug, it will send it to blood circulation. Once again it will return to its original position. So that type of process we are telling as reversible binding. So there is some postulate also will get, characteristics we will get of this carrier mediated transport. First one, the carrier protein is a uncharged ion or non-polar in nature, and it has no direction. That means it can work in any directions. That means it can work in both directions. It can go inside, also it can come outside. And the transport mechanism is structure specific. Structure specific means it is having a affinity towards special structures. Special structure means, suppose in our body different types of vitamins, essential nutrients there which will be transported by these carriers. So these are structure specific. These are designed, these carriers are designed to transport these type of particular substances. And the system is structure specific. It is only transporting the drugs having similar structure to vitamins or essential nutrients. Some of the drugs there which are having similar structure to essential nutrients. For example, 5-fluorouracil, 5-bromouracil, which are anti-neoplastic drugs. These drugs can be transported by this mechanism. And these drugs are also known as false nutrients. That means in this mechanism it won't transport drugs, only nutrients it will transport. So that's why we are designing the drug like similar to essential nutrients. So that carrier will bind that particular drug which is having similar structure to nutrients and transport it. And as it is a carrier limited, because the number of carriers present in our body will be limited. So this transport mechanism also limited and saturated. Saturated means once it will transport, it will not act once again. So that's why it is structure specific, and always more amount or more concentration of drug cannot be absorbed. As per the concentration of carrier only, the drug will be transported. Then your next one, facilitated diffusion. Next one, facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion means the drug will be transported in the downhill movement. Downhill movement means as per concentration gradient by a carrier. By a carrier. That means it is a carrier mediated transport. Also, it will follow the diffusion process. So that's why this process will be more faster than the normal passive diffusion mechanism. So in these different types of drugs or essential nutrients like different vitamins or absorption of glucose to RBC, absorption of vitamin 1, vitamin B2, vitamin B12 can be absorbed by this mechanism. So now this is all about your passive transport. Now coming to active transport. The last class also I told you in the introduction to mechanism of drug absorption. In active transport, it needs energy, and the energy will be directly utilized from the ATP. And so that's why there are two types of active transport: primary active transport and secondary active transport. So in the primary active transport, the drug will take directly energy from the ATP and it will move. So this primary active transport is a different type. One is your ion transporter, and ABC. Ion transporter and ABC. Ion transporter means it is responsible for transporting the ions. That means we can tell these ions are transported by a pump, ATP driven pump. In our body, different types of pumps there, like proton pump. You can might have studied proton pump inhibitors, omeprazole, pantoprazole, proton pump inhibitors in pharmacology might have studied. So proton pump inhibitor means there is a pump acting inside our body, proton pump, which will transport the particular ions, H plus ions. So in this proton pump also a ATP driven pump, example of ATP driven pump. And this ion transporter also two types. One is organic anionic transporter, organic cationic transporter. Anionic transporter and cationic transporter. Anionic transporter means different types of drugs like atorvastatin. Atorvastatin will be transported. And organic transporter means your diphenylhydramine. Diphenylhydramine is a cationic transporter. Then coming to ABC, ATP binding cassettes. ATP binding cassettes. That is known as ABC, ATP binding cassettes. So this is also called as exertion, means the drug will become outside of the cell, or different toxins will become outside from the cell. So this is also called as Ethlox pump. Also called as Ethlox pump. Ethlox pump. So by using this one, the drug will come out. And for that also there is a carrier acting for that. So that carrier transporter, ABC transporter, example is P-glycoprotein. P-glycoprotein. P-glycoprotein, it is an example of ABC transporter, and it is also suitable for different types of absorption of different drugs, and also in cancer chemotherapy. There is a term by using multi-drug resistance, and this P-paraglycoprotein, which is responsible for this MDR, multi-drug resistance, because due to presence, when it will act for a long time, it will make out from the cell. The drug will become out by this mechanism, ABC transport. Then coming to next one, secondary active transport. Secondary active transport means it is not taking directly energy from the ATP, but it will take indirectly. So there are two types of secondary active transport there. One is symport and antiport. Symport and antiport. Symport means co-transport. Antiport means counter transport. Symbiote means co-transport. That means the drug, when the ion will enter, same type the drug will enter. And antipode means when the drug will come outside, same time the ion will enter, the drug will enter. So this is co means same side it will go, and counter means the opposite side it will go. There are so many examples given. Symbiote example is a sodium glucose symbiote, and H plus coupled peptide transporter. Antipode example is involvement movement of molecules in opposite direction, expulsion of hydrogen ion using sodium gradient in the kidney. So these are your active transport mechanism. Getting or not? So active transport mechanism, already I told you, primary active transport and secondary active transport. And secondary active transport, symbiote and antipode. Finally, there is another transport mechanism, as I told, vesicular transport. Vesicular transport means two types of transport mechanisms in that I told you. This is also called as endocytosis. So in this transport mechanism, different types of vitamins, vitamin B12, vitamin A, D, E, K, different oil soluble vitamins, water soluble vitamin like vitamin B12 will be absorbed. So this endocytosis process consists of two types. One is phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phagocytosis means cell eating. Pinocytosis means cell drinking. That means phagocytosis, there is an adsorptive uptake of the drugs. Adsorptive uptake means directly cell will eat. Pinocytosis means uptake of fluids, fluid soluble. That means drug will be supposed in oil soluble drugs, it will be drinken by the cell. If it is solid, then it will be ate by the cell. So that is phagocytosis and pinocytosis. So this is all about your mechanism of drug absorption. In the next class, we will discuss about factors influencing GI absorption of drug. This is also very much important for you, and this is a very large one, so it will take time. So with this, we will discuss other things in the next class.